to see you guys. You guys are fucking patriots. Look at this guy. He's got respect for doing. There's 4 million people coming in. It's only a matter of time. Justice is coming.
What is the cost of lies? It's not that we'll mistake them for the truth. The real danger is that if we hear enough lies, then we no longer recognize the truth at all.
Why would I have anything to say to you? All you do is lie.
What else is left but to abandon even the hope of truth and content ourselves instead with stories?
It's the role of good journalism to take on powerful abuses. And when powerful abuses are taken on, there is always a back reaction.
Take an animal virus and you increase its transmissibility to humans, right. You're saying that's not gain of function?
That is correct. And Senator Paul, you do not know what you are talking about, quite frankly. And I want to say that officially.
When you report fake news, which CNN does a lot, you are the enemy of the people. Go ahead.
About is the reality of goodness, not the perception of it. And what I see all over the place is people who care about looking good while doing evil. Fuck them. Okay?
Welcome back, Habbening Bros. It's time for another Habbening TV. Yes, it's Monday, and you know what that means. Tonight, we have, the aftermath of the Trump election is still reverberating around the world like some kind of orange-haired tidal wave washing up in the brains and faces of people all around the world as, countries try to get to grips with the new political environment. Trump isn't even president yet, and he is having a profound effect on the world, although there is also some massaging of the truth going on. There's been a lot of fake news going about. We'll be covering it. There's been suggestions that Mark Rutte, the head of NATO, will kick the US out of NATO. That's apparently completely false. There's been a suggestion that Hamas has been kicked out of Qatar. That's also apparently false, or at least disputed. There's been a bunch of stuff, right? So that, the Trump supporters are like, look, Trump, he just gets close to the presidency and everyone falls in line. Not quite, but, it's sort of looking good. However, the salt mining, the sort of Dead Sea salt of the lefties continues to get worse. And one of the side effects has been the revival of the 4B movement, which is an extreme feminist ideology out of South Korea that's basically like, wait, what are the 4Bs? It's like no sex, no marriage, no children, no life, basically, right? Now, this had a very, very specific thing to South Korea, but, the West is sort of trying to revive it. Seems like a bit of a psyop to me, bros, if I'm honest, right? This stuff's been shilling around everywhere, and a part of me thinks that this is just sort of yet more kind of like stuff to ensure that societal conflict continues, because, they can't have people just, sort of like laying to rest and trying to get on with each other. Where's the fun in that? I'll be covering that, as well as another kind of disturbing sub-trend of this, which is the banding around of the term aquatofina, which is a 17th century Italian poison that was used by wives to poison their husband, because today's feminists are so mentally deranged, they actually think that they're living in 17th century Italy under the oppressive Italian church, under the oppressive Catholic Church. I I don't even know what to say to that, bros. Like, but look, any reversion of progress means that, we're going all the way back, bros. Before you know it, right, we'll be back in caveman times, and, the women, they'll be, like, chained up in the cave, having to, like, stew saber-toothed tigers or something like that. I don't know, mate. Like, I think in their fantasies, they're all fucking superheroes. So we'll be covering that. And finally, a story that actually broke, getting on like a week-ish ago. The German government has basically collapsed. They are in a really, really terrible state. And, the sort of possible effects that this is going to have on the EU and, the EU, basically, Europe generally, and possibly the war in Ukraine. There's been a little bit of movement on that. Honestly, at the moment, of course, we're in a bit of a transition period. Although Trump has been elected, he is not officially the president yet. There is still January 6th, part 2, the Trumpish boogaloo to come along. Some people are speculating that the Dems are going to try and pull some kind of malarkey. Others are saying that basically sort of everybody's over it, and the people that sponsored the last round of malarkey are just a bit sick. It's getting a bit bad for business. Things are starting to destabilize too much. And so, the powers that be are just like, nah, look, let's just do it, right? Like, look, Trump loves the nation of Israel, and as long as he loves the nation of Israel, it'll all be fine. So we'll be covering that along, of course, with cute videos. We have some cringe. Oh, mate, do we have some cringe for you this week? Oh, my God. My eyes are still bleeding. But you know what the rules is? If I have to watch it, you have to watch it as well. Right, let's see who's in the chat. Say hello on Rumble. Sadie Sapiente. Yiz the Eunuch. I'm actually not sure if I'm going to be on Discord and Dragons tonight. I forgot to ask Yiz about it. Might have the night off. Maybe. Play some Diablo. Livia Drusilla. Proper Pictures, good to see you, mate. Anybody else in Rumble? Rat Fun King, good to see you, man. That's everybody on Rumble. On YouTube, we have Total Blackout Painting, Timmy Robinson, Cyber Chud Internal Affairs, good to see you, Sir Chud. I hope your internal affairs are chudding along. Victorian Time Traveller, good to see you, mate. And Timmy Robinson. Wait, did I already mention Timmy Robinson? Well, you got 2 mentions if I did. Thanks for coming along, bros. And on Odyssey, we got nobody. Oh, that's all right. Yeah, if you're lurking on Odyssey, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. Before we start, though, you can please donate via Entropy. In fact, we already have an Entropy from... wait, who do we have the Entropy from? From Jeffrey Mill for $7. Thank you very, very much, Jeffrey. Have a dancing girl. Yes, you can donate on Entropy. Also, Monero, and there's now a Bitcoin address. I really should have gotten that up ages ago, but, I finally got it up. If you have been watching this show for ages and you've always wanted to send me some Bitcoin, well, now is your chance. Ladies and gentlemen, I will take all forms of cryptocurrency. Anyway, wait, actually, I should do the Earth Monies thing.
We need Earth Monies to appear as normal Earth pigs. Mini Moose, how much have we earned?
Yes, please send Earth Monies. Right, today's meme, of course, I mean, it's just sort of a joke, but I thought this was really good. I was at the Barnes & Noble earlier, and I asked the clerk if they had Donald Trump's new book on how to deport illegal immigrants. She immediately said to me, "Get the fuck out of here and don't come back." I said, "Yeah, that's the one. Do you have it in paperback?" Yes. Have a full boat tonight. If you want to take a night off for video, yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I think I will just have video tonight. I'm still getting, back into it, basically. Right. So let's get on with the news. Wait, let me see. Where's the right window? Yes, here we go. Okay, so we start with story that broke a couple of days ago. Apparently the Pentagon is all like, oh my God, how are we going to like stop Trump from doing stuff, right? Like, what if he wants to court-martial like General Milley for, disobeying orders and, basically, trying to undermine the commander-in-chief, and his defense will be, but it's Trump. Like, you don't understand, right? Like, it's written in the thing that I don't have to obey orders if, the leader of the country has political opinions that I don't like. Court-martial that motherfucker. Court-martial him right now. So, this story is a little bit vague. Apparently, details leaked of some Pentagon meetings where they were basically trying to undermine the president. I don't know. I mean, the fact that it leaked, I mean, look, this could all be like a psyop. I really think that psyops are abounding at the moment because, you know, see, we're in a period of transition, right? And whilst we're in a period of transition, both sides struggle to shape the ongoing narrative before it hardens and calcifies. So this will be a high psyop zone. Don't worry, I'll be keeping abreast of it and, you know, informing you of all the psyops about. So, yes, here is CNN basically talking about this. Check it out.
Course, is how Trump is going to wield U.S. military power here at home. Is he going to make good on his previous pledges to potentially deploy active duty U.S. troops to American cities to engage in domestic law enforcement and to help with his mass deportation plan? That is something that officials here have been discussing in terms of how they would actually respond to that. What would a response look like if the president were to actually order active duty troops to these cities to engage in this kind of domestic law enforcement? And if he did, you know, a former senior military official who served under Trump said that that would be very significant. It is not something that the president would be able to necessarily water down to the American people. It would be, quote, a very big deal. And another thing that officials here are gaming out is, of course, what is going to happen if Donald Trump reinstates an executive order known as Schedule F, which would essentially reclassify a large amount of apolitical civilian employees across the federal government, including here at the Pentagon, and allow them to be more easily fireable. That is something that defense officials here are scrambling to address before he enters office, trying to kind of whittle down the list of people who would be at risk of being moved into that category, because of course they're trying to create, you know, as minimal of a disruption as possible to the day-to-day operations here. But clearly they are concerned. They're having these conversations about whether there would be resignations, for example, if an unlawful order were issued.
So yes, so everyone in the deep state is in a fluffer, in a you know, all in a kerfuffle. Basically, they're like, "Oh my god, right? You know what's going to go on?" Yeah, it's looking pretty crazy. There's another clip where someone, I think it's on Fox, just saying, well, look, you know, rather than talking to each other, maybe you should talk to the presidential transition team. You know, of course, deploying troops as a police force, I believe, would violate posse comitatus, not, of course, to be confused with pussy comitatus, which is where the army basically comes in and starts grabbing women. Much more unpopular than posse comitatus. I guess we'll have to see how that's going to shake out, bros. Oh, actually, this is the one, I think. Check it out.
Is that to you?
Well, I am a little concerned, honestly, if the federal bureaucracy, whether it's in the Pentagon or any other agency, is already having discussions about how to countermand the commander-in-chief. I mean, let's remember how this works. He got elected president. He's the commander-in-chief. He gives the orders. They follow them. And so I don't like the idea, candidly, Wolf, of non-elected government people at any level having meetings with each other about how to thwart the duly elected president of the United States. So I'm really hoping that when Donald Trump names his nominee for the Pentagon, and then they take office and you have your National Security Council in place, that we have a much better working relationship between the White House and the Pentagon than what I'm reading tonight, which is one part of the federal government already having some kinds of meetings about what it would look like to thwart the president. That's not a good way to start.
But let me follow up, Scott. Let me follow up with you, because Trump, as president, will be the commander-in-chief. But what these Pentagon officials are considering right now and discussing among themselves, what if he gives the Pentagon, the U.S. military, illegal orders to do certain things? What do they do then?
My advice to them would be, instead of talking to each other, talk to the president and talk to his senior staff. Because look what's happened. They're having these meetings. Now it's out in the open. I mean, what is Donald Trump supposed to think now? You've already got the government, the bureaucracy, you know, plotting against you or thinking the worst of you. So to me, the best thing that could happen here is for them to talk to each other, meaning the Pentagon people and the president and his team. That's what really ought to happen. So I hope these secret meetings that now somehow find their way into the press, that really needs to stop, and we need more communication between the incoming government and the people who are already in the building.
Now, of course, this is setting up for the January 6th showdown, right? Although the Democrats are looking quite supine at the moment, and they're being like, you know, well, it's time for the country to heal. Remember, J6 Part 2 is 2 months away, right? And if I was a sort of dialectical warfare expert, then what I would do, of course, is try and force Trump into a position where he has to deploy the military and then have the military be like, oh, I'm sorry, I wish we could, stop the steal part 2, but, it's an illegal order and, gee, we'll have to, reference the Supreme Court, or perhaps we need to call Dick Cheney and, Dick Cheney's just, he's out of Washington at the moment. I guess we can't get a hold of him. Oh, mate, such a shame we can't deploy the National Guard. This shit is going to go down. This is what they're positioning for. Next couple of months are going to be very, very interesting, bros. Now, there have been some fake rumors going around. So, the first fake rumor, the first bit of fake news, I'm here to fact check. I am actually a fact checking organization in my own right. See, I've got my little fact checking badge. You can't see it. It's invisible. It has to be. Unless if the misinformation people could see it, they might dox me. You know what I mean, right? Because they might not take my fact checking very, very well. But seriously, right? So this has been going around, and apparently the source is just some Telegram channel. There's no video, there's no statement, right? So, but the rumor, right, is that NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte. Now, consummate politics watchers might remember Mark Rutte. He was the Prime Minister of the Netherlands, and the one that was asked about his close links with Klaus Schwab in the Dutch Parliament, right? So allegedly, Mark Rutte is planning to expel the US from NATO if they give any part of Ukraine to Russia. Now, this is just ridiculous on its face. The most obvious reason it's ridiculous is this graph, which basically shows that the US funds about 2/3 of NATO. I'm not even sure that the rest of NATO could even expel the US. I'm not familiar with all the minute inner workings of NATO, but something tells me that something that was set up by the US, they wouldn't have a clause in there where they let other people expel them. So fake news, BTFO'd, bros. You heard it here first. There has also been rumors that Qatar has expelled all Hamas officials. Apparently not. So apparently this was going around sort of about a month ago, where Qatar had basically pulled out of the peace negotiations between Israel and Palestine, obviously because it's pointless, right? Neither side really wants peace, and the Israelis most definitely do not want peace yet. Basically, they've got until January to glass as much of Gaza as possible, at which time Trump is going to come in and be like, right, that's it. You got to wrap it up. So Qatar has basically come out in response to this rumor saying, no, we still support the Palestinians. Honest, bro. Whether this is actually true or whether this is something to appease what is known as the Arab Street, this is a frequent sort of problem in Gulf countries in the Middle East generally, is that the man on the Dubai omnibus, as it were, who values himself as a part of the Ummah and is a strong Islamist, has a very, very different view on politics to the actual ruling class of those countries who actually have to engage in diplomacy and this kind of stuff. This is from the Times of India. Check it out. So, yeah. Yes, that seems to have been a bit premature as well. However, this is actually real, right? So, if you're watching, I forget which stream it was I was talking about this on, but I was very, very hopeful that the US would use their clout, especially in trade negotiations, to basically say, well, we are a Western liberal democracy. We value things like fundamental human rights and freedom of speech. And other nations can't be within our 0% tariff zone unless they also share our values. This is the kind of stuff that the US used to do all the time, right? Before Trump got in, they used to go around to other countries and be like, look, you're crimping the freedom of speech of your citizens, you know, you're killing protesters and stuff like that. And then once Trump got in, suddenly, you know, the West pivoted to basically like, oh, well, you know, like, you know, what really is free speech after all, right? You know, there's this thing called misinformation, you know, basically just completely betraying all the principles that they are supposedly founded on. So JD Vance, like a total Chad, basically came out and said that the US could drop support for NATO if Europe tries to regulate Elon Musk's platforms. Now, this is, this is a notable story for a bunch of reasons. Firstly, Musk is now very, very close, of course, to the current US administration. Twitter being such a powerful tool, this is a very, very smart move by Trump, right? Because famously, of course, Trump got his reach massively nerfed by Twitter 1.0 while he was still the sitting president on January 6th. Now, Trump, of course, is very, very keen that when January 6th Part 2 rolls around, right, Twitter will not nerf his ability to speak, because this could be absolutely crucial to controlling whatever clusterfuck emerges, right? So, stop, close. So yes, so Vance has basically said, look, you know, if Europe tries to affect Twitter, which is an American platform, we're going to like start, you know, cutting NATO funds. You know, there's all kinds of leverage the US could use. You know, all the politics chads who remember the US before 2016, they used to throw their weight around a lot, but, you know, mostly for good reasons, right? You know, BTFOing the communists. I mean, the occasional bit of corporate mercenary warfare, but, you know, that was mostly in, you know, in South America, and, you know, does anyone care about South America? It's a horrible thing to say. But yes, you know, so Musk apparently was very, very basically worried that if Harris got in, he could be arrested and have all of his shit stolen. I think this was a very, very likely outcome, because they were basically saying, you know, Musk is the fountainhead of disinformation, you know, Musk is like a Nazi, all this kind of other stuff. So Vance is basically saying, so what America should be saying is, if NATO wants us to continue supporting them, and NATO wants us to continue to be a good participant in this military alliance, why don't you respect American values and respect free speech? Now, this is an argument that I think we are going to start seeing more and more. I hope Trump gets on the phone with Starmer. And it's like, Starmer, you know, Keir, what are you doing, locking up your own people for tweets? That's not a very liberal and democratic thing to do. I don't like it. If you continue to fuck around like this, I'm going to hit you with some massive tariffs. Massive. They're going to be the worst tariffs, and your country's going to implode. So which would you rather, right? Economic implosion, or, you know, stop jailing your citizens for speech, right? And, you know, and of course, Starmer will cuck like the cuck that he is. Vance said, it is insane that we would support a military alliance if that military alliance isn't going to be pro-free speech. I think we can do both, but we've got to say that American power comes with certain strings attached. One of those is respect for free speech, especially in our European allies. Yes. Love it. Love everything about you. Can just hear all the commies squealing, being like, free speech, but they're racist and transphobic and misogynist. We can't allow them free speech. Free speech is for communists to tell, you know, everyone how racist you are. So yes, it's going to be very, very interesting to see how this pans out. The EU has basically turned around and said now they will buy oil from America over Russia. Well, I mean, I think this is probably dependent on Trump massively bringing down the price of hydrocarbons. At the moment, buying LNG from the US is incredibly expensive, but not many people know that the EU is still buying gas from Russia through the Ukraine pipeline because there's nowhere else that they can get it from. The EU, of course, is not very happy to announce this fact, and every single time they pay Gazprom, I imagine they die a little inside, and it still has not stopped Germany's economy from collapsing. More about that in our third segment. Oh, Hayes Reviews. Good to see you, man.
I would not say discussed, but we touched upon yesterday. It's the whole topic of LNG. We still get a lot of LNG via Russia, from Russia. And why not replace it by American LNG, which is cheaper for us and brings down our energy prices, but is something where we can get into a discussion, also what our trade deficit is concerned. So engage, look at common interest, and then negotiate. I would not.
Ah, mate, she looks salty. Look at her. I mean, she always looks salty. I mean, she basically looks like she's been dipped in salt and preserved. But, you know, Trump has made a few appointments. Obviously, they're not official yet, but these are the people that he is planning to do. New U.S. ambassador to the UN, Elise Stefanik. She, of course, has the most important attribute for a UN ambassador. She very, very much loves the nation of Israel and, you know, backs Israel in all of its endeavors, no matter how unpleasant. So, you know, there's that taken care of. Very, very important. And we have this guy, the former ICE director and Project 2025 author, Tom Homan, will be the border czar, overseeing all U.S. border security and deportations of illegal migrants. Now, this is an amazing choice. Look at this Chad, right? This really needs like a funk track underneath it to, you know, like slow down by like a third to really sort of emphasize like how hardcore and bass this is. Check it out.
We have seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is that worth it?
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
Oh, you can't say that. What are you talking about? You're supposed to be like, oh no, but yeah. And this line of questioning has been used against this guy like literally forever. Here is Ocasio-Cortez, basically sort of you know, trying the same line of attack, being like, oh, you know, my family separation. This guy won't have any part of it. It's pretty amazing.
Mr. Holman, your name is on this. Is this correct?
Yes, I signed that memo.
So you are the author of the family separation policy?
I am not the author of this memo.
You're not the author, but you signed the memo.
Yes, a zero tolerance memo.
So you provided the official recommendation to Secretary Nielsen on for the United States to pursue family separation.
I gave Secretary Nielsen numerous recommendations on how to secure the border and save lives.
But it says here that you gave her numerous options, but the recommendation was option 3, family separation.
What I'm saying, this is not the only paper where we've given the Secretary numerous options to secure the border and save lives.
And so the recommendation, of the many that you recommended family separation.
I recommended zero tolerance.
Which includes family separation.
The same as is with every U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father
Mr.
from his
Holman,
family.
with all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're into the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum, you go through the port of entry, do it the legal way. The Attorney General of the United States has made that clear.
Okay.
Oof. Oh, but what about the children? Don't care. I think it's safe to say that these arguments are not going to fucking. Oh mate, AOC is gonna be having a hard time the next 4 years. Trump has also, I mean, these are a bunch of clips from his Agenda 47 thing that are doing the rounds. He basically wants to abolish the Federal Department of Education and throw it all back to the states. Very nice.
And one other thing I'll be doing very early in the administration is closing up the Department of Education in Washington, D.C., and sending all education and education work and needs back to the states. We want them to run the education of our children. because they'll do a much better job of it. You can't do worse. We spend more money per pupil by 3 times than any other nation, and yet we're absolutely at the bottom. We're one of the worst. So you can't do worse. We're going to end education coming out of Washington, D.C. We're going to close it up, all those buildings all over the place, and you have people that in many cases hate our children. We're going to send it all back to the states. Thank you very much.
But wait, there's more. He's also going to completely fuck the woke universities, mate. I'm so here for this. I mean, okay, obviously I'm not in the US, but in terms of academia, the US and the UK are basically joined at the hip, and allowing sort of more based academics in the US is bound to start filtering over to the UK, especially as it becomes apparent how much better the US academia gets as a result.
Tuition costs at colleges and universities have been exploding, and I mean absolutely exploding. While academics have been obsessed with indoctrinating America's youth, the time has come to reclaim our once great educational institutions from the radical left, and we will do that. Our secret weapon will be the college accreditation system. It's called accreditation for a reason. The accreditors are supposed to ensure that schools are not ripping off students and taxpayers, but they have failed totally. When I return to the White House, I will fire the radical left accreditors that have allowed our colleges to become dominated by Marxist maniacs and lunatics. We will then accept applications for new accreditors who will impose real standards on colleges once again and once and for all. These standards will include defending the American tradition and Western civilization, protecting free speech, eliminating wasteful administrative positions that drive up costs incredibly, removing all Marxist diversity, equity, and inclusion bureaucrats, offering options for accelerated and low-cost degrees, providing meaningful job placement and career services, and implementing college entrance and exit exams to prove that students are actually learning and getting their money's worth. Furthermore, I will direct the Department of Justice to pursue federal civil rights cases against schools that continue to engage in racial discrimination and schools that persist in explicit, unlawful discrimination under the guise of equity will not only have their endowments taxed, but through budget reconciliation, I will advance a measure to have them fined up to the entire amount of their endowment. A portion of the seized funds will then be used as restitution for victims of these illegal and unjust policies that hurt our country so badly. Colleges have gotten hundreds of billions of dollars from hardworking taxpayers, and now we are going to get this anti-American insanity out of our institutions once and for all. We are going to have real education in America. Thank you. Tuition.
Oh, mate, Marxoids BTFO'd. It is as though through the force, a million Marxists cried out in horror and were silenced. They're like, no, how are we supposed to have a revolution if we can't indoctrinate the children? No. My worry is a lot of them are fucking going to move to the UK, to be perfectly honest. They'll be like, I'd really just need to move to a country where they still understood the value of Marxism, and there's not quite so much misinformation, right? And they still lock people up for speaking. That's the kind of country I want to live in. Fuck off, we're full. Go back to your, mate. There should be like a global market for citizenship, man. So like I can trade my citizenship with like an American that hates their country, and I'll just be like, well, you don't want it. I would happily take it off your hands, bros. Also, now this is very, very spicy potentially, right? Only proper Fed watching Chads notice this. This is Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve. Now, Federal Reserve, of course, is a very, very spooky and venerable institution. It prints the money and then loans it to the government. It has never been audited. No Fed chair has ever been removed. It was created under very, very spooky circumstances. And now people are asking Jerome Powell, what happens if Trump tries to fire it? I can't believe it. Oh, don't you know central banking is supposed to be independent, which basically means it's just a power unto itself. Check this out.
Hi, Victoria Guido with Politico. Some of the president-elect's advisors have suggested that you should resign. If he asked you to leave, would you go?
No.
Can you follow up on, do you think that legally you're not required to leave?
No.
Hi, Victoria Guido with...
It's like, no. Like, it's just the president, right? Like, I mean, we're the Fed, right? Like, we have all the money. Why do we care what the president thinks? Of course, there is a bit of a problem about this. Constituting the Fed was actually massively unconstitutional, which is why they needed all of this fuckery to get it through. Read The Creature from Jekyll Island if you are interested in that. Or I'm pretty sure Hayes Reviews has done like some awesome books on that kind of like stuff as well. And interestingly enough, on the same day, the Fed cut rates by 0.25%, sort of signaling perhaps that they will start drifting the interest rate back down. Now, this is potentially quite significant. Trump has basically been saying that he might get Ron Paul into his orbit. Ron Paul's thing, of course, was abolish the Fed, audit the Fed. The Fed has never been audited. Now, would Trump abolish the Fed? I am skeptical, but I will tell you that he could absolutely go to the Fed and say, listen, Jerome, I need you to make sure that the Fed has low interest rates throughout my presidency so we can make America great again. And, Powell will be like, well, the Fed is supposed to be independent. And Trump's being like, well, you can make a deal with me or you can talk to my friend Ron Paul. Which is it? Now, I think this is going to be a thing about Trump's presidency and the way he rules. I don't think that he is going to institute based world. I think what is going to happen is he is going to go to people like the pharma companies, like the Fed, and say, look, I want you to do this stuff. And if you don't do this stuff, if you don't cut a deal with me, I am going to unleash my attack dogs, people like RFK, people like Ron Paul, on your ass. And then you're going to be in real trouble and they will buckle. So Trump has a lot of leverage against these organizations that usually would just be like, who the fuck are you? You're just the president. You're like, no, I am Donald Trump. I think you have mistaken me for somebody else. Check it out.
The Fed announced it cut interest rates by 0.25 percentage point. This is the second cut in a row. Now, in a different political environment, this decision might be heralded as a success for the Biden-Harris administration. Proof they pulled off the so-called soft landing, reducing inflation without triggering a recession. But about 20 minutes from now, we're expecting to hear from the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, about their decision and the path forward. We'll be listening for anything he says that might affect your wallet or the Fed's independence.
Yeah, I mean, you guys might find this unbelievable, but there was a time when banks actually set their own interest rate. So you could, go around to a bunch of different banks and they would set their own interest rate before, the Fed came in and was like, oh, no, really what we need is this horrible independent bureaucracy that is completely, opaque. And uncontrollable to set interest rates, not for political reasons, of course. No. I mean, we would never use that power to, mess up a sitting president or anything. Now, there is still the question of the Senate Majority Leader. Trump has announced, by the way, that neither Nikki Haley or Mike Pompeo will be in his administration, which is great. I think he might have just put that out, basically. Trump's constantly sort of wrong footing people. So the top candidates to replace Mitch McConnell are neocon senators John Corman and John Thune, and Trump ally Senator Rick Scott. I do not know enough about these people to comment, but it does seem that Trump is listening to feedback, and many people are like, do not let the neocons anywhere near government. And if he does this will be the first time that the neocons have been out of government effectively for 20, 30 years? Chat, when was the last time that there wasn't a neocon in government? When were wasn't the neocons invented under like Bush Senior? God, it's a long time ago. It's a long time ago. There has also been a lot of QAnon going about, bros. As you know, of course, it's only the right that do conspiracy theorists. No, of course, right? Like, in the coping and seething, there has been a lot of conspiratorial seething from the left, including this gem that Biden should resign and make Harris the first female president before she steps down. I don't think that's going to happen, but I guess we'll see.
Is looking for. That is my question. I'll start with you.
Joe Biden has been a phenomenal president. He's lived up to so many of the promises he's made. There's one promise left that he could fulfill, being a transitional figure. He could resign the presidency in the next 30 days, make Kamala Harris the president of the United States.
Whoa.
It would absolve her from being able to from having to oversee the January 6th transition, right, of her own defeat. And it would make sure that it would dominate the news at a point where Democrats have to learn drama and transparency and doing things that the public want to see. Is the time. This is the moment for us to change the entire perspective of how Democrats
Okay, this
operate.
has now jumped from an internet meme to a Sunday morning show.
Jamal's out here right now.
Congratulations.
Season of House of Cards.
I thought you were going to say, what about the Supreme Court? That's also out there.
Well, the Supreme Court might happen. I don't know if it will, but I think this is something that's
is looking.
So, I highly doubt this is going to happen. Obviously, the deep state boys would love to have Harris in the presidency when January 6 Part 2 rolls around. But I don't know, man. A lot of people are basically saying that like Biden is like secretly based and stuff. I don't know about that. I suspect that there is a possibility that Biden will actually pardon Trump before he leaves office. That's totally doable, and probably pardon his son as well. So, I imagine, right, the deal would work something like this. Biden pardons Trump, allowing for a smooth transition to power. Biden then sort of pardons his son, and Trump agrees to like shut down the cases against Biden, Hunter Biden and Burisma and all of that sort of like nasty mess. And then, put it all behind him, basically, right? Seems like a good deal. Now, of course, there have also been this great conspiracy theory that Elon Musk stole the election with Starlink. Now, there's a bunch of like weird things about this. I was reliably informed by the Democrats that these voting machines were not connected to the internet, and that anyone saying that they were was a conspiracy theorist, bros. All of a sudden, it turns out that they can be connected to the internet, in which case, why the fuck are you using them? Shut up and stop thinking. Check this out.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it! I have had a feeling since Tuesday, and so has my family, that something was very off about this election and the results. We just couldn't quite pinpoint it. We just couldn't put our finger on it. And shout out to all the people who have made videos with information and divulging and divesting into all of this. It's really great informational help. And you know what? It makes sense. It makes sense that Starlink is a part of this, and Elon Musk it makes sense why Elon Musk is in this, why he just suddenly came out of nowhere. And I just couldn't quite put my finger on it because I didn't have enough evidence. I didn't have enough information to go off of a hunch, an intuition that I had. And as women, our intuitions are never wrong. And now it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot.
As women, our intuition is never wrong. Did I tell you about my ex-boyfriend? Bro, come on.
Sense. And you know what? I didn't really want to say anything because I didn't want people, or I'm sorry, not people, MAGA and Trump supporters to come out and say, oh, so now it's voter fraud, blah, 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 blah. Like just coming out with bullshit to try to, But I've noticed that a lot of MAGA Trump supporters have been very quiet. And I live in a very deep red state. I haven't heard a single peep from these people, okay? And that crazy orange man, he's been real quiet, a little too quiet on social media. And that man is a creature of habit. He has patterns. He has shown us repeatedly for years that he can't shut his yap, okay? He just says whatever.
Chris pointed out this is some random nutter talking shite, not the news. Well, yes, it's true, but I had to sort of, do a little bit of the QAnon going on, the Blueanon, rather. Right, speaking of weird Blueanon, we have had a revivification of the 4B movement. The 4B, or 4 No's, is a radical feminist movement that emerged in South Korea during the mid to late 2010s on Twitter and on the website WOMAD. I don't know what that is, but that sounds bloody horrible. The name refers to its defining 4 tenets, which all start with the Korean language term bi, roughly meaning no. So it's no sex with men, be sexu, no giving birth, be chulsan, no dating men, be yeone, and no marriage with men, bihon. Bihon? Bihon? I can't, I can't do Korean. Shut up. I'm doing my best. Now, this, the reason why, this is a big thing in Korea was they had a big Me Too movement. This woman was like murdered and Korea also was basically ruled by a feminist cult for like a while. It's totally a real thing. Like, look it up, right? Like, it's that crazy fucking country. But we also have this kind of like stuff going around.
I'm going to be honest. I was very blindsided by the results this morning. I've decided that cigarettes don't count today, and I honestly might go get a tattoo. But I also have decided that for the next 4 years, I am going to abstain from schmex with men. And funny enough, I actually just broke up with my boyfriend a handful of days before the election, and it had nothing to do with the anticipation of Donald Trump winning this election. It had everything to do with problems within our relationship and massive differences between who we were as people, which was unfortunate and sad. I wish him well, though. But yeah, as a woman, my bodily autonomy matters.
Yeah. Fucking, yeah, we heard it all before, woman. This is pretty funny, though.
I'm hearing talk of this 4B movement because Trump won the presidency, right? My thing is this. Oh no, shiver me timbers. What's so crazy? We've gone so far left that we've come back around right. Isn't that crazy? Women are saying, you know what? We're not going to have sex with any of you anymore until you treat us with respect. Let me get this straight. You had to have a woman lose the presidency for you to stop sleeping with men unless they show you respect? Is that not hilarious to you? We're not going to have sex with any men until y'all start treating us like human beings.
Base black man there. However, there is a slightly more sinister thing going on. Now, just a little bit of historical sort of precedent for you. The sex strike, a lot of them are saying, like the ancient Greeks did. No, they didn't. It's from a play by Aristophanes called Lysistrata, right? Where basically, in order to force a peace between Athens and Sparta, Lysistrata persuades the women of the warring cities to withhold sexual privileges from their husbands and lovers as a means of forcing the men to negotiate peace. A strategy, however, that inflames the battle between the sexes. This is a Greek comedy, right? Like Aristophanes, of course, was like great with these like weird sort of sexual relation comedies. And it's very, very funny play. Basically, the women are like, how am I going to do without sex? They even where's this thing? They even agree to abstain from the lion atop the cheese grater. Whatever the hell that means. That's some Greek sort of term for some weird sex position. So if someone's like, oh, they did it in ancient Greek, no, they didn't. And speaking of Aristophanes, very, very based dude. This is a great quote. When the soldier returns from the wars, even though he has white hair, he very soon finds a young wife. But a woman has only one summer. If she does not make hay while the sun shines, no one will afterwards have anything to say to her, and she spends her days consulting oracles that never send her a husband. Woof. I think that would be illegal to say now or something. Now, this is much darker, right? This is a selection of videos talking about aqua tofana, which was a poison used in 17th century Italy so that usually young women could poison their husbands and get out of a marriage. Of course, divorce was illegal back then. Women basically had no rights. So these women today basically like LARPing like they're oppressed, like under the sort of the height of the Catholic Church in medieval Italy is, well, it's bloody funny. But check it out. This is pretty grim.
Never gonna happen, sweetie. Your body, our choice.
I got that adrenaline.
All day, every day, therapist, mother, maid, nymph, then a virgin, nurse, then a servant, just an appendage, lip to attendant, so that he never lifts a finger. 24/7, baby machine, so he can live out his picket fence dreams. It's not an act of love if you make her, you make me too much labor.
Am I right?
Who be sleeping with this bitch? Like, seriously? Oh my god! Like, the glasses, and she's got the smuggly. Ugh, mate, I can feel my bits like literally trying to crawl back up inside me. Ugh. You're telling me this bitch is married? Come on, man. What, you gonna poison one of the members of your polycule? Come on.
Aqua tofana. If you know, you know.
Barely can wait to hit him with the snare and the bass, square in the face. This fucking world better prepare to get laced because they're gonna taste my venom. Barely can wait to hit him with the snare and the bass, square in the face. This fucking world better prepare to get laced because they're gonna taste my venom. I got that adrenaline, not knowing what I'm.
Bitch, you are never fitting enough poison in that goddamn ring to poison anybody. Indeed, aqua tofana is something of a legend. I spent quite a bit of time sort of digging into this. I might make a longer video on this subject, right? I think essentially what happened was that aqua tofana became sort of this thing that women would sort of like say, or, you know, a rumor that would go around basically say like, look, men, you know, don't treat your wives too badly. You might get a bit of the aqua tofana up in you. But to give you basically a summary, it is supposedly created from lead, arsenic, and belladonna, and, you know, is used to sort of give like a progressive sickness. So, you know, the man sort of in question doesn't know that he's been poisoned. He thinks that he's come down ill. This gives the woman time to make him repent, make sure he signs the will, and then they can be a happy young widow and presumably ride the cock carousel in peace. It is named after Guila Tofana, a woman from Palermo, purportedly the leader of a ring of 6 poisoners in Rome, who sold aqua tofana to would-be murderers. Supposedly it came in a sort of cosmetic sort of bottle and called Mana di San Nicola, or the bread of Saint Nicholas, essentially, right? Now there's a lot of like stupid stuff about this, right? You would need quite a lot of lead and arsenic in order to do this. You need to get the doses right. Supposedly it was tasteless. I don't know why the hell you'd put belladonna in it, to be perfectly honest. You're probably just more likely to hallucinate as a result of the belladonna alkaloids. I had quite an intense chat with Govt about this, and I was speculating, what if you wanted, your sort of unfortunate husband to have a religious vision, or, believe that he'd been visited by the devil because he wasn't treating his waifu right. I don't know. So much like Tarantella, which was a poison that was associated very heavily with the Borgia popes, I think there is much more legend to this than fact, but, there it is, right? Right, so our final story, man, I'm running a bit over time. Rat Fun King, lead is not tasteless. No, but there are certain lead salts that are relatively tasteless. It's not sort of just the lead. It's a lead salt, basically. So the German government has collapsed. It actually collapsed like a while ago. They're about to have another election. Everyone, of course, is very, very interested in making sure that the AfD gets banned before then, so that, they can deny representation to the people and make sure that mass migration continues to be a thing, or as they like to say, fight fascism, because fascism is basically anything that gets in the way of a million more migrants. Am I right, bros? Because that's going to fix everything. Yes, Germany is in a bit of a pickle after basically destroying its heavy industry through the war in Russia, and of course the Americans blowing up Nord Stream, blowing up all of their nuclear power reactors, which apparently they're about to reverse now. But it's a bit too late. It's going to take them 5 or 10 years, possibly longer, to actually rebuild any of them. They are in a right state.
What exactly is happening? What's happening in Germany? What are people worried about? Just give us an idea of the landscape.
Well, I think the last time I was on your program, I told you that your Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, wouldn't need to remember Olaf Scholz's name because he wouldn't be in power long enough, and that's exactly what's happening now. So the German government, the German administration, this bizarre coalition of Social Democrats, Greens, and the Liberal Party, which is way more pro-business and anti-spending, has collapsed. The German Chancellor has fired his finance minister, Christian Lindner, over a dispute that has been going on for weeks now. It has been clear for weeks that these three parties don't really fit together, don't want to work together anymore. Christian Lindner came up with a paper demanding whole new policies, especially on the economy, policies that were completely against the big spending ideas of the Social Democrats and the Green Party. Now, in Germany, we have a peculiar thing which is called the debt brake. It is in our constitution, and it's there to prevent left parties of all colors to go mad on spending and to go mad on the debt. That is what Olaf Scholz demanded from the finance minister to get rid of, so that he could spend more money, presumably on Ukraine. Christian Lindner said he wouldn't have it, and that's when Olaf Scholz, in quite a dramatic fashion, fired his finance minister. He then went on to give a spectacular press conference that was like a divorce story straight out of one of the many great tabloids you have there in Britain. People saying bad stuff about each other. Olaf Scholz going after his finance minister, Christian Lindner, both parties accusing each other of arson, putting the country on fire. It ended in a spectacular fashion. And the mood here right now is, I would say, many people are relieved, because disagreement with this administration is at record levels that we have never seen in Germany. 70-80% of the government disagree with this government. People who say this government has been doing a good job are at 1%. So most people are just relieved that it's over. Now the big question is, when can we go to the polls? Most people would love to do that tomorrow. Chancellor Scholz apparently wants to spend Christmas and the New Year as a proper Bundeskanzler, as a proper chancellor. So he only wants to call the vote for confidence in January. No one understands why only in January. So everyone is now pushing.
I could make a guess. I bet he wants to call it in January because he wants to see if Trump's really going to get in or not. They probably want a bit more time to see how, Ukraine is going to shake out and all this kind of other stuff. So to give you a basic summary, the coalition that the current German government had to keep out the AfD was a coalition between the Greens, the Social Democrats, and the CDU. Livia, you know about Germany. What are the CDUs? Christian Democratic Union, sort of, the centrist sort of, but Merkel came from them, so they're basically left. Now that everything is going to pot, the Greens basically want to print a shitload more money and spend it on windmills and all this kind of other stuff in order to make sure that, they don't backslide. Everybody else is like, look, this is insanity. It's a right mess. And of course, when your government, when literally 1%, that's a rounding error, right? Nobody in Germany thinks this government is doing well. They are up shit creek, and this is going to provide the perfect opportunity for the AfD to come in. And if the AFD wins over 50% of the raw electoral votes, and then they turn around and they're like, in the name of democracy, we have to ban the largest party, the entire sort of like ruling paradigm is just going to collapse, right? You can't claim to have a democracy even in the slightest sort of sense if you're going to ban the party that got the majority of the vote. That won't stop them trying, though, I'm sure. Of course, they're trying to ban the AFD before the new elections, but apparently it's going to take a while. It's got to go through the courts, so it's a bit of a forlorn hope. It's not going to stop them from trying. And mass strikes have ground the economy to a halt. Everybody in Germany is, Germany's been spending like tons of money on the war. They've been destroying their energy infrastructure. They're screwed. They are totally screwed. And if Trump comes in and turns the entirety of the US basically into Dubai, all of the heavy industry is going to move to the US. What really kicked this off, actually, was the announcement that a bunch of Volkswagen plants would have to close. Now, Volkswagen, of course, is part of German industrial myth. It would be like Australia saying that they've got to close the Vegemite factories or whatever, right? Or, we can't make Dryserbone anymore. It's too expensive. And so this basically caused like a sort of massive collapse. This long thing about basically sort of the way that sort of the German political system is constructed is still very much a post-war artifact, meaning it has all these sort of like weird conditions and stuff in the basic law, among which are that, no far-right party, however it is defined, can ever come into power. And, the Americans still have like a ton of control, military bases everywhere. It's a heck of a position to be in. Don't lose a war, bros, or you might wind up like the UK. Anyway, now you're all caught up, bros. I'll be keeping an eye on the Germany thing. Honestly, the only thing that can save Germany at this point is the AFD, and then of course Germany would have fallen to fascism, and and there'll probably be like the most insane, weird psychogenic illness gripping Germany, because of course Germany has been affected by denazification more than any Western European country. So they're sort of locked into this thing where they've just got to keep doing the horrible thing, like, no matter how bad it gets. So anyway, right. Okay, so that's everything. It's time for some cringe now, bros. Oh, mate, we've got some cringe for you tonight. Cover your eyes, ladies and gentlemen. Look at ye posting cringe. Oh god, where's the freaking window? Right. I can't believe this is a real thing. Bloody hell.
If you're queer and your family voted for Trump like mine did, hi, hello, I'm your mother now. Just checking in. Have you drank water today? Did you eat? Did you take your meds? Did you breathe? Are you breathing? You gotta breathe in your belly, babe. Let's take a breath together, okay? Ready? Inhale through the nose. Hold. Exhale through the mouth. Let your breath ground you. You are alive, babes, and I love you so much.
Brother, get the flamer. The heavy flamer. Actually, I think we're going to need a whole squad with heavy flamers for this. Fucking hell. Speaking of demons, this is the UK government. I think I'm just going to leave the flaming torch Pepe up because this is... oh, God. I can't believe this shit.
Have you ever played 193-dimensional chess? That's what I was doing back in 2009 at the Copenhagen Climate Summit, trying to get 193 countries to reach agreement. Yes, it's true, I did look younger then. I'm about to go and do it again in Azerbaijan at COP29. But why? Because it's the once-a-year chance to put world leaders on the spot to act on climate change. And at this year's COP, you'll have a British government representing you that believes in doing its bit at home.
Yeah, you won't be representing me, mate. If you want to rock up to COP29 and represent me, you can tell them all to fuck off, right? You're going back to hydrocarbons and nuclear.
home and showing leadership abroad. Everything we're doing in Britain, from Great British Energy to our Clean Power Plan, is about lower bills, energy security, jobs and growth. But if we're going to keep future generations safe from the threat of climate change, we've also got to work with other countries. This government believes climate security is national security. That's why I'll be going to COP29 to play climate chess and fight for Britain.
I don't know, bro. This guy seems like a bit of a faggot to me. You know, yes. What is it he's going to guarantee? What was it again? Fucking economic security and all that kind of like stuff. Oh, yeah, for sure. Fucking, oh, here we go. Lower bills. No. Energy security. No. Jobs and growth. Well, I mean, maybe if they pump a shitload of more money, printed money into the public sector. Oh, God, I hate it so much, bros. I hate it so much. Now, in case any of you have been wondering what Pfizer's been doing recently, they're still out there, bros. They're still slinging that Fauci sauce. Still slinging the mRNA juices. Check it out.
I got my together. I got my together.
The whole class knows I got my together.
Just say it. You can get your shots together too. Your COVID-19 shot and your flu shot at the same visit as recommended by the CDC. I got my shots together, dude. Ask your healthcare provider about getting this season's COVID-19 shot when getting your flu shot if you're due for both.
Are you getting your together?
Oh, my heart. Oh, God. Don't feel so good, bro. It's must be that mild exercise I did. Definitely can't be. I can't believe they're still fucking chilling this shit. Honestly, like you think they just. Oh God, mate. It's fine. This is Don Lemon. Basically, you know, tweeting this interview with Jared Taylor. You know, he's just like, oh, mate, the reason why, like, Trump got in is because you're racist all. Well, yes, but, you know, there's more to it than just that.
I want to know how it is you voted for Donald Trump when you're so into facts, because his entire campaign is not based in facts. It was all based in propaganda and emotion.
I voted for Donald Trump for one reason only. His policies, if implemented, would slow the dispossession of whites in the United States. If he were to deport all illegal immigrants, if he were to think very hard about letting in any Muslims, all of this would slow the rate at which whites are becoming a minority.
Why are you so worried about the white dispossession of America?
Because I want my people to survive. Is that so strange? We don't control China. We don't control any place where whites are not a majority. And if we become a minority, we will not control our own destiny anymore.
I grew up in this country as a minority, as the children of immigrants. I was their first child born in America. And while I didn't have much possession or didn't much control, I really enjoyed myself. You say that you wouldn't want me in this country?
At some point, when my ancestors built this nation, they did not build it with the intention of giving it away to Mexicans or Chinese or Haitians or to anyone else.
Do you consider it, you keep saying your ancestors built this country, you consider that a fact?
Who else built it?
Black people, Native Americans, Chinese people who came and built the railroads.
Do you think none of that could have been
Italian
achieved?
people.
But they're Europeans, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, it's the economy, stupid.
You're so racist, bro. Yeah, but you know, white people should cheer for their own extinction. Oh God, I hate this fucking shit so much. Fuck off, Don Lemon. You suck. This is our brave, stunning and brave Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, the Llama Hama, two-tier Keir, raising the price of beer. Motherfucker, I hate this guy so fucking much. Did you know, guys, that AI is basically like a fork? Fucking hell.
Somebody at Google who said to me with AI, Keir, think of it as...
He said Googaloo. He's going to be around for the Googaloo boys.
Somebody at Google who said to me with AI, Keir, think of it as like a fork. He said, you know, if you're trying to eat your dinner, a fork is quite a useful thing to have, but it can also be used to stab someone. Somebody at Google who...
I love how he's like a fork, like not a knife, right? Like you wouldn't want to say, you know, it's like a knife, right? You know, that might go down. It's like a fork, you know what I mean, right? Like an assault fork, perhaps a fork specifically designed for stabbing bros, right? Like, you know, oh, yes, the Googaloo. I can't believe what a fucking clown this guy is. Right. What? Oh, okay. So this is very, very based. This is the kind of energy I want to see from our Monero bros. Honestly, I'm so jelly for you guys. I just really hope that Trump also puts the boot in to, you know, other Western countries and sort of, you know, stops the fucking rise of communism. It's looking pretty good at the moment, though. I am generally optimistic.
This message is for the elites and the powers that be. On November 5th, you were sent a resounding message. And that message was very simple. You don't get to wage a culture war against the majority of Americans. You don't get to choke us nearly to death with inflation. You don't get to threaten parents in this country and use our children as pawns. You don't get to stack the deck in your favor using legislation. You don't get to flood our country with fucking illegal immigrants. And you don't get to use our military to fight your fucking rich man's wars. You don't get to force us to choose between an experimental vaccine and keeping our job. You don't get to choose what is information and what is misinformation. And you don't get to choose whether or not you want to follow the Constitution of the United States of America. When we said we are taking our fucking country back, we meant it. So for any of you who are planning some fuckery between now and January, I'd be really careful, because that tree of liberty is looking thirsty.
I love that energy, pros. I love it. Fucking, like, God bless you, Americhads. Fucking nice one. Speaking of the Americhads, some people very, very clearly need to be put into the crystal. Trump released, of course, a press statement on putting lefties into the crystal, something that I very much support.
Let's get in the crystal. It's a nice crystal, the best they say. 1,000 years isn't that long. Hop in.
It's the best crystal. 1,000 years. It's not that long. You know, just hop in the crystal. This is an AI song about putting people in the crystal. Play a couple of minutes of this. This is really funny.
Two a.m. on the 6th of November, North Carolina barroom quiet as a whisper, and the TV's playing the Jew-run news, and the map's all red with a few odd blues. They ain't figured it out yet. Well, let the whole damn barroom shout it. Gas to $1 and women can't vote, but throwing every last immigrant back on a boat. The SNP just did a 45 X, but wait till you see what he's gonna do next. Cause it's as clear as pure white sapphire. All them shit-talking lips gonna wish that it was satire. You think I'm a fascist? Well, I think you're a faggot. Now watch us use a Govt and ancient magic to round up every liberal and lock them all in crystals. DC tunnels bright as July fireworks. 6,000 crystals down and he ain't even tired. Crashed out lips with them tear-filled eyes, having TDS over TikTok live. Last week they were hopeful. In a few more days they'll be frozen in opal. Retard, I told you. 'Cause Liz Cheney's dead and Pelosi is next, and he fired everyone in the IRS. It's illegal to shoot fat girls on sight, and I bring my gun on domestic flights. It's as clear as pure white sapphire. All them shit-talking lips gonna wish that it was satire. You think I'm a fascist? Well, I think you're a faggot. us use a Govt and ancient magic to round up every liberal and lock them all in crystals. Mark Cuban, getting the crystal. Stephen Colbert, getting the crystal. Cardi B, getting the crystal. Rachel Maddow, getting the crystal. My wife's mom, getting the crystal. Bud Light, getting the crystal. Massachusetts, getting the crystal. Lisa Simpson, retard, I told you. This is clear, clear, clear. It's pure white sapphire. All them shit-talking lips gonna wish that it was satire. You think I'm a fascist? Well, I think you're a faggot. Now watch us use a Govt and ancient magic to round up every liberal and lock them all in crystals.
So awesome. Oh, excuse me. So Hayes reviews. It started as this joke, basically, you know, that once Trump run, we'd, you know, stick the libs in the crystals, like people using like Superman 2 references and stuff like that. And it's just become this meme, basically, of, you know, sort of a way of expressing like keeping these people away from political power, and it's just very, very funny. So, you know, there you go. This is fucking great. This is really, really cool.
Just about done with the killdozer, putting the last final plates of steel on it.
Didn't you see Trump won the election?
Are you kidding me?
No, he won.
We don't need the giant killdozer.
No, not anymore.
Alright, I'm starting it. We don't need it. If you want, I guess. We don't need the dozer. You can cancel the trailer to DC. We don't need it anymore.
Wait, sorry, Crispy, that's not the thing. This is the Fonk thing that Rat Fun King sent us. Hang on, I will drop the link to that. Okay, let's see.
What are they doing over there? I don't know. They just keep saying random words, then this noise goes off like... Oh, I've heard of this before. It's called fonk. Fonk? That's a real word? Fonk? Yeah, apparently it's music from like 80 years ago in 2023 that people used in short form videos. They called that music. I mean, yeah, it goes insanely hard. That's not music, that's noise. Well, according to this, it was played because creators wanted people to not just hear their words, but feel their words. Feel their words. I think I get it, so just say some random nonsense and we'll do one. Okay, I don't believe in human rights. You know, I think I get it. I get it now. Those are some of the dumbest words I've ever said, but with that music afterward, you feel it. It just makes the words so compelling. You try now. Just say the stupidest thought on your mind. Communism was actually kind of tight. How does that work? How do I automatically agree with you when that music plays? I thought you said it was noise, not music. This isn't just music, this is art. Now play it again. What are they doing over there? I don't know. They just keep saying random words.
Okay, weird, but pretty good. Okay, let's see. What else have we got? Wait, this is the Killdozer one? Right, okay, we're back to this. Not sure what this is. Enjoy.
Tough break for Cammy, huh?
You just started a war.
No, I just finished one.
I am going to do everything in my power to end you.
Listen here, I've been around a lot longer than you.
Yeah, no shit.
You never understood how this really works. You were always a good soldier for them, but not me. I didn't get plucked out of nowhere like you did. I spent 40 years hiding skeletons for those fucks.
I knew you were fucking stupid, but this is insane. You really don't know the enemies you just made. We are going to erase you from history.
Oh, like I give a fuck, I've made my bed. I'll lay in it. I know my family is protected. How about yours? How long you think before investigations start? How long do you think you'll stay useful to them? Besides, give yourself some credit. You were the one that dared him to run. But now I gave him the Oval Office. How about you?
Joe, what the fuck did you do?
I don't remember. I'm just a crazy old man, right?
Did you make a deal with him?
Like I said, my family's protected. Hold on, I got someone who wants to talk to you.
Hello, Barry. It's been quite a long time, hasn't it?
This isn't fucking over.
I'm not an idiot, Barry. I just play one on TV.
Ooh, savage. So, mate, man, AI is, look, say what you want, but AI has some very, very good upsides. This isn't AI. This is a real ad that Trump did in 1995 for stuffed crust pizza. Check this out.
You really think this is the right thing for us to be doing, Ivana?
What will people think?
Let them talk. Ivana. It's wrong, isn't it?
But it feels so right.
Then it's a deal?
Yes, we eat our pizza the wrong way.
Crust first.
Introducing stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut. With a ring of cheese baked into a totally new, thinner crust, you'll want to eat it the wrong way. Crust first.
May I have the last slice?
Actually, you're only entitled to half.
Large, just 9.
Honestly, I'd probably buy anything like Trump advertise. Like, man, that guy's like great. Oh, dude. Yeah, this is good as well. I got a few Trump ones here.
I haven't done it yet. I may do it. If this doesn't work out, probably I will do it. I would almost say definitely.
What else have we got? Oh, yeah, this is good.
What? Larry, what the hell are you doing?
Larry!
Larry, you can't just...
Oh, Larry! Oh, are you all right? How did...
Larry! Righto, what's going on here?
Oh, sir, I'm arrested. Oh!
Dude. All right, this is good. This is another one from Garen Music. Crimes Against Tea. This is great.
Another crime against tea. This is an American lady milk straight onto the tea bag. I'll be nice. She's making it for her husband. Bottled water. The carbon footprint. You might as well make it with fucking diesel. A sugar, you glutton. 2 fucking sugars. God made it sweet enough. 3 sugars. She's putting it into the fucking microwave, of course. Why does your microwave look like it's owned by the Prince of Dubai? It's awful blingy. It's hurting my eyes. I'm getting a headache. Oh, here it fucking comes. The microwave is a bit dirty, is it? Sorry, I'm getting angry. That's none of my business. A cup of milk with a tiny bit of brown. It looks like it went out to get a suntan, but only took off its socks. She's mixing it with some sort of device. I think I used to have one of these for my fireplace. The tea bag has more tea in it than when it went in. She's not going to pair it up with Biscoffs. That's a coffee biscuit. You can stir it all fucking day. It's not going to make a difference. I'm absolutely disgusted. Follow me. I'm delicious.
Now that is most definitely a crime against tea. Ew, come on, bros. Right, cute animals time. Enjoy.
You just ate an entire chicken parm. A whole chicken. Do you have any idea what you've done? It was $20.
What did you do? What did you do? Who did...
What is this? What is this?
Who did this?
Did you eat my burger?
Did you eat? Did you enjoy it?
We left and there was still food on this plate. Who ate it?
Who made all this mess? Hugo did it.
Who did this? Who did it?
Aw, it's so cute though. Oh, dude, hilarious. This is like great. I'm always struck by how dainty bears are. Like, amazing. Bro, I remember once seeing this, like, someone on 4chan did this video of, like, a bear, like, looting a shop and just being, like, really carefully and polite about it, and, like, juxtapose it to, like, one of the BLM, like, guys just, like, smashing everything up. Fucking hilarious. Right. Animal secret societies are a thing. If you come across them, please report them to your local government snitch.
So what the hell is going on down here, lads? It looks like some kind of a meeting that I wasn't invited to, hey? And what are you doing on this side of the gate? You're leading the meeting, are you? And what's on the show? Oh, okay, that's part of the show, obviously. And what are you going to do now? What's the next trick? It's very early to be at this crack, lads. Dolly, do you mind him being on your back? It seems like it's just a normal thing at this stage. You just accept it. Right, look, go on. I'll leave you to it because you don't talk when I'm here. Have a good day, lads.
Right, what else have we got? Oh yeah, Kung Fu Squirrels, bro.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. Everybody was kung fu.
You gotta watch out when the squirrels start training with bow staff, mate. Very, very deadly. Right, on to like just the cute stuff now. What else do we got? Goat climbing a wall. This is pretty incredible. Incredible. What else have we got? Cute bunnies. She looks exhausted. And our final cute animal video of the night. Floofy cats in sunlight. And that's the end of the show. Thank you so much for coming, bros. I will not be on Discord and Dragons tonight, but you should go check it out on Yiz the Unix channel. Let's say a quick goodbye to everybody in the chat. On Rumble, Wyatt's Torch, Livia Drusilla, Sadie Sapiente, Yiz the Unit, Crisby13, Rat Fun King, Ivan the Horrible, Patriots Flow. Good to see you, man. I think that's everybody. Is that everybody? If there's anyone I forgot. Timmy Robinson, of course. Cthulhu loves you. Oh, I cannot forget you, good sir. I think that's everybody on Rumble. On YouTube, Simon JJ, Ardent Party. Good to see you, Ardent. Victorian Time Traveller. I did mention Simon JJ. Stumbling, Cyberchat Internal Affairs, Victorian Time Traveller, Total Blackout Painting, Miot Yuri, Evil Author 1776. Is that everybody? Lady Miss Coppertone, Anti-Whiteism Ends With You. All right. Yeah. So tag me on Twitter. I said this before, but I didn't see your tag, mate. Or just drop it in the chat before I go. Sorry, I tend to miss the chats a bit. I think that's everybody. And on Odyssey we had En Passant, Magus Kaiser. I think you're new. Good to see you, mate. Camille the Wicked. Good to see you again, man. And I think that is everybody. Right, I will be back on Thursday. We'll have another Habbening and Gulag Cafe. I think we'll be talking about the horrors of the video game industry. Until then, have a good one, guys. See you later.